We can't see it. Perfect. All right. So I'm going to be talking about the psychology behind investing. And before I start really getting into the topic, this is something that will accompany us through our entire investing journey. Psychology is one of the most important things when it comes to investing. People like Warren Buffett even say, you might understand the strategy. You might know how to evaluate a company, when to invest, when to sell, when to buy, and look at all the technical indicators. But it's really about applying that knowledge on a consistent basis and making these choices consciously to not mess up and get really emotional investing. Be accompanying us, as I said, something that we always have to consider when we're investing. So we're never going to finish this topic because it's always going to be at the front or back of our mind. So to get us started, I want to have a little experiment. If you want to, you can close your eyes and imagine it a bit more vividly. Imagine that we're in a COVID-free time. You finally decide to go to a pub with your friends and you see a dartboard. All of your friends decide to start playing dart. Now, if you play dart on a very regular basis, please think of another example. For example, golf, mini golf, or something else that you could do on a regular basis, but you simply don't. Now, you step up to the dartboard and you throw your first dart. You don't even hit the board. It goes way off. And now, what do you think? What do you feel? What are the emotions that are going through your head? If you're anything like me, you're going to think something like, that was just bad luck. I really hate playing darts. This is such an idiotic thing to do. But I also think I want to try and do this again, and I want to do better. Unfortunately, we don't think about, what did I do wrong? How can I improve? Did I move my elbow the right way? How was the arc of the dart when it was in the air? Now, you threw your dart way off. Now you throw your second dart. It hits way in the middle. You have a great shot. What are you thinking now? What are you feeling now? Well, if you're anything like me, again, you're thinking, I know how to throw darts because I play basketball. I throw stuff around all the time. This is a result that I expect of myself, and other people should expect this from me because I'm just so awesome. And I think I want to do it again, and I want to have the same result. But similarly to before, you don't think about, what did I do right? How did I move my elbow? How did I focus? How did I throw the dart? And what was the outcome? And bear in mind that both of these scenarios do not guarantee anything for the next time that you throw a dart. You might think about it while you're throwing the dart, but to actually implement the changes that you thought about takes so much mental strength. So how does this relate to investing? Investing is really like playing poker. We, as lead pass investors, wait until the dealer gives us a great hand. For example, 4 aces. Now, when we find a company that's 4 aces, it checks all the boxes, and it just looks really good. We can then decide to put money in the pot. We make our bet. And please never be like this guy where he bets his watch and his car and maybe his house. Just stick to money for the time being. Unfortunately, even though we have great cards, the dealer might deal the other person at the table a straight flush or a royal flush, which is better than our 4 aces. We can compare this to something like Yona said, a natural disaster, a tsunami ruins the entire market. Or a competitor figures out a new technology to cure cancer and we're just off the grid entirely. So we can't predict these things. What we can predict is how we play our cards. The next hand that we're dealt, do we want to win back the money we just lost? Or are we going to wait until a great hand comes around again? And that's exactly what the big stacks bullies do. They sit and wait. Warren Buffett, he doesn't take an investment he doesn't truly believe in. And that's what we have to do. Wait until the right cards come along and manage our emotions even though we've just suffered a loss, or even if we had the royal flush, manage our emotions until a new royal flush comes along. The key to doing this is really knowing what you want. Before you make an investment, think about, what am I looking for? How much money do I want to get? Also, what am I willing to risk? How much money am I willing to lose? And what will I do with the money if it works? Right? If I put all of my investments into a new stock right now and it doubles in price, will I run outside and buy myself a Lamborghini? Or what will I reinvest that money? How do I prepare for these mental occurrences or situations so I can make the best out of it? One example for me is Games Workshop. I did my research with Luke during COVID, sitting on top of each other, and we bought underneath the safety margin, right? We were ready for the stock to go up. And then when it hit the true value, we sold. I doubled my money. That money is now the money that I use to invest into any other investment that I want to make. And I don't have to use any of my other expenses, but I was prepared for that. I wanted that to happen. Unfortunately, what do we do? Do we prepare for situations when they go wrong? What happens when the stock goes down? And how will you deal with it? And just thinking up front that way. The perfect example, again, is SEDG. Chelsea gave a great presentation the other day. She convinced me. The next day I had my money in that stock. But I wasn't prepared for it to go down. I wasn't prepared for it to go down $80 a share. I was down minus 500 the other day. That's my rent. So I don't know if you guys remember, but during the meeting last week, I said I want to sell my shares because I think I can find a better investment and make that back the money quicker. What a stupid thing to say. Because we knew that it's a company that looks good. It has potential, but I just wasn't patient enough. I just couldn't deal with that red number in my account. The problem with that is that these opportunities come along very often. Luke is going to give you guys a presentation on a possible stock in just a bit. And if you're anything like me, it'll be really difficult for you guys to stop yourself from throwing money in. Because what I did was Luke sent us the numbers without doing any research. I had no idea what the company did, and I just threw my money in there. I just saw the numbers because I was thinking, this is free money. But it's our job as lead pass investors to stop ourselves and say, you know what? What do the numbers look like? How do I think that I can improve on my investment? Is this really the right decision to make? And I'm a very irrational person, so I do stupid stuff like this. But are you any better? And if you just said yes to yourself, are you sure? So what happens when we lose? Think back to the dartboard. You think this is stupid, you look for external factors, and you also think, I want to try it again. And I want to make back that loss because I want to win the game. Luckily, our brains are really attracted to money. When we lose money, we really think about it very, very often, and it hurts just as much as it hurts losing a limb. Maybe not that bad, but something similar. So we really go back and analyze what went wrong and how it happened. Similarly to me with SEDG. I'm thinking about what should I have done better? How could I have done better? But in reality, did I really learn? Well, I just bought shares of a company that I knew nothing about. Knowing what to do and doing what you're supposed to do are two completely different things. But luckily, we learn from these situations. It's about implementing the situation, implementing your lessons. And we have to do that on a consistent basis. Think about when you win. What's different there? Go back to the dartboard. You think your shot was perfect. You look for excuses to make it seem that it's all right that you are so awesome. But are you really? What did you do? Consider the things that you did right. Unfortunately, our brains don't really think positive thoughts as often as we do negative thoughts. If it's a sunny day, you'll think about the sun maybe once. If it's rainy, you'll think about the rain 7 times. So we analyze our losses way more than our wins, but they're equally important. As an investor, it's really important to figure out, okay, with Games Workshop, did I really do my research? What did I look for? What are the tangible things that made it a great investment? And how can I replicate that? Knowing this information, again, doesn't mean that you do it. You have to find the opportunities and not let the Homer Simpson brain take over and you just do really silly stuff. We have to figure out what we did right and then implement that. So if you look at the lead pass investment strategy, essentially what we're saying is we don't want to lose money because we do our research really well. So considering the things that I just told you, by the end of the year, if we find a lot of great stocks, which hopefully we will, you'll have a track record of so many successful trades, so many successful investments. But will you be arrogant with it? Or will you, after 1 or 2 successful investments, think about, you know what, I don't really have to do the research as hard anymore. If the numbers look nice, I can invest. Do you attribute your wins to luck and keep yourself humble? Or do you think that you're so skilled? How do you let successes and losses rule your emotions? And it's one of the things that, especially with a strategy like ours, try and take it as a lesson every single time, if good things happen or if bad things happen. Because if you don't, and you think that you're everything and you just start doing things on intuition, well, it might not look that great. If you look at the market, and this is something that's proven scientifically or with numbers, women do better in the market. They make more money than men because they evaluate their skills in a different way. They attribute their successes more to luck than to skill. That means that if you attribute your success to luck more, you're more likely to evaluate your next move and be more careful with it. Whereas similarly to me, I've had one great investment, and I've ever since had the feeling that I can open up an investing group with a whole bunch of my friends and teach people about investing. Now, is it really the case? Do I really know that much? Or do I have to reconsider and really go back to the drawing board every single time I give you guys a presentation? Do I have to think about what I'm teaching you? It's one of these mindsets of consistently learning and not thinking that the things that you've done well are because of you, but it's because of your work and the research that you've done. Luke's going to give you a presentation on a possible investment in a bit. Now, even though it looks great and you could potentially make a lot of money, take a step back and think about, is it the right shot to take? Should I actually make this investment? Think about all the factors that we consider as lead pass investors and make a right decision for yourself. Does anyone have any questions?